Hello! Hello and welcome. I'm Knight's Angel, and we're back building Paws. Today, well, like I finished off in the other episode, today I'm going to show you some of the work. Calamity. Oh, you've already seen front runner for our lining. I was just being kind of decorative with that at the moment for a moment. We also have our two stencils in the way, so let's move them. Now, I went ahead and did this completely off camera. You and I had already told you about the other stencils. Which I have right here. They kind of curled up on me. As you can tell, are a bit of a mess right now. But as you had seen in the previous episode, I had pretty much made a copy of this stencil and doubled their size. First I cut it. So these are actually the same size as the first stencil we did. But we're going to be coming back to those, so I'm going to put them in another box. But, as you can tell, I went ahead and actually cut it. The only one I did not double its size is the thumb. And that's simply because we're just going to use two separate parts for it. And kind of create a little nook. Which is probably something I should have done for the pinky, but too little too late. Feline, go away. Sorry, the cat is... Sunny here is being a brat and is demanding my attention, which pretty much means he wants something. So... he's going to try and get back up here just to get in the way because I'm doing something. Case in point. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and actually just stack all these up. Because we're going to get all of our components ready first. Then put them together. Usually I just start a project, throw it all together, and see what happens. But not this time. The reason why I say that is because this is going to be a lot trickier. First off, we're going to need our stencil again. And... yeah, that's going to be big enough. Is this going to be big enough? Probably. If I do it at an angle, I could probably get it. Yep, there we go. Oop. There we go. We're going to be going through a lot of stencils doing this because of how many different things we have to do. And there's a reason for this one. We need an extra stencil or two, so I'm probably going to grab another sheet of paper here soon, because we have two more things of material to mess with. anyway. What we need the material for is the palm of our paw and the paw pads. So we're just going to go ahead and take a couple of pieces of construction paper, and we are going to make a copy of this. We should only need one copy for this, so I'm just going to go ahead and press down on it. Try and now we don't actually have to change the size of this, because this is actually the size we're going to need. So, yeah. If we were just doing a regular pair of gloves, we'd probably be ready to... We would just pretty much make like 2 layers, sandwich them all together, and then go from there. Because we have that extra layer of foam, it's going to be a little bit trickier. I'm doing this as quickly as I can. Paws. Hopefully you can't hear my roommates because they're being obnoxious. So. Unfortunately, I don't know any background music I can play that isn't copywritten, or that I can find that I like. So, it's tricky trying to do things in the background as well. Get distracted by so many things. Ooh, something shiny. Alright. And pretty much the same as with the last one. We're actually going to just try and go ahead and cut both of these at once, so they may not be exactly perfect. But, like I said, now we're not going to have to do any extra cutting for this. And you know what? I'll be right back. Alrighty. We're back. We have our two new stencils. Now, see, what we need them for is we are not going to use the whole thing of these. We actually have to change the way they look. So, we're going to use one right now. We're actually going to plan this out real quick, where we want the paw pads. And the reason for this is, the way it's set up is paw pads are going to be set at particular angles. Like, the thumb is not going, nobody's thumb lays flat, so we're going to actually curve the way it's shaped. That's why I have 2 pieces for it. So we had to take that into consideration as well. We have to treat it like it's flat. That's where it gets tricky. So on this stencil, we can actually just go ahead and cut part of it out. Well, right now we're going to just draw all these out. But that we're going to cut out and actually make a piece for it. Yeah, right now it looks a little awkward, but just follow me here. Now, we're also going to just go ahead and straight up lop off. And let's go ahead and actually take our first stencil here real quick, since my knuckles all line up in the same places. I'm just going to mark off top knuckle. On each. And line it up. Like so. And you know what? I think we're actually going to go with these marks instead of that one. So it'll actually shape itself. So we don't want to make it too overly pronounced. So if you think you're curving it too much, just straighten it back out. If anything, you can actually just draw a straight line and make your curves that way. Now, we're going to go ahead and just mark off certain points in the palm of our hand here. As you can see, we're just going to pretty much make a line to each of them. Okay. Now that's way too big. But that also tells us where our palm is. Because it'll actually be the very palm of my hand, the very palm of your hand. So, that being said, what we're going to do is we're actually just going to bring a curve across the top. And this curve is the one we're following. So go ahead and mark this line however you want. Little lines, X's, O's, what have you. But this is the line we're going to be cut. This is going to be one of the lines we're cutting. So we're also going to curve the edges here a little bit. So we have a nice round paw pad. Now I actually forget which one's up, so which way it faces. I think it actually faces the opposite way of what I'm doing. But yeah, actually it does. That's okay. This stencil, that's why we made two of them. So, one thing you can do is, if you think you have the artistic skill, to just make a little loop. And just make a little loop. And that's one of the, and again, that's actually one of the ones we're looking at. So, make sure you mark it off. Now, if you're trying to figure out why in the world I set up two stencils if I'm just going to cut the whole thing out of one. Actually, no. And I'm going to show you. But not on this one. What I'm actually going to do part of what I'm going to do is, the reason why we need so many stencils is because we're going to be changing gears very rapidly. We're going to be using each one of these stencils multiple times, as I've already shown. So, just so you know, when you throw a stencil away, you do so either if you manage to damage it, or you complete your project. Not before, because you can always reuse it. So, that being said, we're not going to cut it today, but I'm just going to go ahead and put our stencil on our material. And we're actually going to be going this way with it. So, and I should have enough to do this twice. So, one of the things, okay. Do this real quick. I had to make room first, and I forgot to take that into account for our stencil. As that's what's next. I'm going to go ahead and actually just start this up. And for anybody who is building on a budget, keep this in mind. And you probably see the marker lines on this one. If you're building on a budget, you want to conserve as much of the material as you can. So that means you're going to reuse every piece you can. What I mean by that is, I'm literally using a piece from the first fursuit I made. No, literally, it was actually the part of the belly fur. Heck, most of the material you've seen me use in the other videos was material recycled from my older suit. So technically, I technically have two suits because I made sleeves from I made a partial from out of the first suit, and I'm still reusing some of the leftovers. So there's that. And I've got less than a minute, so buttons, press them, any order, at your leisure. Question, comments, thoughts, ideas, what have you, down all in below. And until next time, I'm Night's Angel. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a better day. Peace.